Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Judicial Proceedings Committee. Today is Thursday, April 9th, 2026. We have two bills on the docket before we get to our voting session. And we're going to start off with House Bill 617 with Delegate Fair. I see Senator Lewis Young is going to present for the Frederick County delegation. Senator, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. To the committee, I am pinch hitting this afternoon for Delegate Fair, who's in a voting session. So this is a local bill. It adds the city of Frederick to an existing program that Montgomery and Prince George's County have already, which grants local government the authority to allow law enforcement to utilize noise abatement monitoring systems, which are very similar to speed cameras, but instead, they're used to track violations of noise ordinances at a vehicle decibel limit that's appropriate for that particular zoning area. All of Frederick City legislators are co-sponsors, and the Frederick County delegation issued a letter of support. By the way, we also have an opinion from the Attorney General that articulates the General Assembly's authority to pass a law that's specific to a municipality, so long as it is of a state concern. And the letter goes on to say that vehicle laws like this bill are indeed of state concern, and so this bill does meet that constitutional requirement. The bill comes at the request of Frederick City constituents, but it has the support of Frederick City Police, the mayor, and the downtown business community. As you all know, noise ordinances are in place to create a more pleasant outdoor environment, safer driving, and has the benefits for community safety and our local economy. So with that description, I urge the committee to return a favorable report.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Senator. Questions from the committee? Senator McKay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator, for bringing the bill. The fiscal note suggests that the city revenues and expenditures may increase. So if Frederick installs the noise monitoring systems, do you have an idea what the cost is going to be to possibly install or administrate these systems?
I don't know what the cost is. Just found out I was doing this about half an hour ago, but I did have a chance to look at the fiscal note. And since the mayor is in support of this bill, as well as the Frederick City Police, I would assume that they feel comfortable handling it in their budget.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Hey, Senator, nice to see you.
Hi.
I'm not as familiar with this as I should be, I suppose, but so I have a line of questions just to sort of understand this. Where I'm coming from is that we do have automated speed monitoring cameras, right, and what this committee has done generally is we try to, particularly when it's going to be new, we try to ask for the legislation to, or the people that are going to, create this system, to first do things like put signage out that, coming soon, there'll be these monitoring systems coming soon. The noise will have, here's the cap on the noise. Because from our perspective, we don't really want you to make money, or anybody to make money. We want to change behavior in a positive way.
Right.
So I'm wondering about that and whether you all would be amenable to us perhaps asking you all to do that, in some fashion so that we get people to change their behavior first and not, and that sort of thing. And then anything else you want to tell me about just generally, is this going to be sort of roving around? I love I love that city so much. I have relatives up there. Are you moving
do I.
around to, yeah, I'm sure you do. Around that area, do you have certain neighborhoods?
Yeah.
And do you see it permanently, temporarily? Just give me a little more of a sense. And I know you just got it, the
I
30
can
minutes ago.
speak to part of
Yeah, I
that
know.
because I served as a Frederick City alderwoman from
Okay.
2009 through 2013. So I can tell you this has been a problem for a very long time. Our downtown is very mixed use.
Yeah.
It's not like we have a business district and on the outskirts of that, there's residential. The residential is mixed right in with the businesses, sometimes in the very same business. So noise has been a problem, and obviously the police are called out frequently to try to curtail it. And whether or not they intend to put signage up, I do know that they tend to publicize it in the local media before they put a new process in place.
And this isn't just for, I may be making the wrong assumption. This is not just from a vehicle. I've been around very loud vehicles before. This could be noise from people partying or.
Yes, it could be
Any
anything.
source
I
of noise.
should mention that there's an exception.
Oh, good.
And emergency vehicles.
Yes,
So a
right.
fire engine or a police siren or a hospital, they would be an exception on their way to, but not from.
Well, that's odd, but, because sometimes I think you need to rush to the hospital and you need to clear people
In
out.
that case, it wouldn't.
Okay, so we won't make this hearing any longer. Maybe you could just get back to me about what their thoughts are about letting the public know before you start sending people
I
tickets.
don't know what their methodology is, but I do know they have a history of letting the public know before
Thank you, Senator.
doing something new.
Further questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you.
Excellent. With that, that'll conclude the hearing for House Bill 617. We'll now move on to Delegate Pruski with House Bill 669. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chair Smith, Vice Chair Wallstrider, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Delegate Andrew Pruski, here for HB 669, as amended and passed the House by 134-0. The bill in front of you today essentially offers State Highway Administration to require certain non-governmental applicants to submit a schedule for the work that they're doing. In accordance with that certain work schedule, also authorize the administration to revoke a certain permit under certain circumstances, provided that the permit holders and its sureties are liable for certain damages and generally related to state road improvements. I want to paint a picture for you because I think it's important to understand why I brought this bill. And I do apologize. It went out of the House late for a couple of reasons. Number one, it wasn't heard in the committee till last minute. And second of all, there were amendments that we were waiting on that didn't come through, and that's why it's late. In my district, though, if you travel on Route 3, residents from Baltimore City, Prince George's County, Eastern Shore, Howard County travel on Route 3 daily. Fort Meade is the largest employer in the state of Maryland, just outside my district. On that road, on Route 3, there is a project, when I ran for office, and this was 4 years ago, that is still not completed. Essentially, barrels have been put out, medians, other things, nothing has been done. 70,000 cars travel this road daily, and the project has not been completed. It's been frustrating for constituents, and I've had people outside of my district email me. And unfortunately, with I-97, Route 175, 32, this project is not getting done. We essentially have a permit holder who kept delaying and is causing issues. So I worked with both State Highway, MBIA, who obviously would be concerned about developers and access, to work on this bill. And we came to an agreement, and that's what you have in front of you today. Essentially, the language provides a few things, and I just want to go over that. It requires that non-governmental applicant, when they file their permit, to provide a schedule. When is the work going to be done? Number two, if the work is not done, certainly why is that, and if they need an extension, to let them know, and of course to work in accordance with the schedule, and it could be revoked if it's not done. And in addition, there's a surety bond that people put up for that road improvements that could be pulled. And it's certainly the administration would be required to provide a written notice. I ask you for a favorable report. This impacts my district, but I don't want it to happen again to you and your district or anywhere else. And I think the language that we agreed upon, again, is in a good posture, and I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you for bringing this bill. I think this is probably pretty useful to a number of us, but I just want to understand, this is, because I feel your pain, and it's the state of Maryland, it's driving me nuts on 95. They need to get this project done. I see it just languishing and taking forever. But this is, so this would be somebody's building a Walmart, and they have to do ingress and egress, so they've gotten all their permits from the state, but their project's just delayed, and all the inconveniences and problems that go with traffic. Is that the kind of thing we're talking about? 'Cause
Correct.
it's a use and occupant. It's not about, is it a highway permit? I mean, is it a permit from SHA to go in and out of a property, or something a little different?
Correct. So I think the best example would be the one that I just described to you in my district. There's a strip center, commercial strip center.
Okay.
That got a state highway permit.
Right, okay.
Essentially was saying, we're going to get this done at a certain time.
Right.
They have not.
Yes.
Have done delays, not filed the permit. And essentially what this bill does is have some accountability language that would, number one, hold them to a schedule. And of course, at some point, maybe pull the surety bond that they'd have. So again, it's only for those non-governmental state highway. This is not local roads, anything like that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll tackle, you all can tackle that locally later. But so, I don't know how this works, and I used to deal with the transportation issues. When the state does give you permission, like you got your permits to do ingress and egress on a major road, I don't know. I guess it has no it does have no expiration date at all on it. It's just it's just a permission.
I don't want to
slip.
speak for state highway, but in the conversation I've had with them is that they've kind of given some leniency to some of these folks, especially the one in my district.
Yeah.
And a timeline really requires them now. They are setting dates, and basically with them would pull the surety bond. So there's actually some accountability. So to your answer, I don't want to speak for them because they're not
Right.
here.
Yeah.
But my understanding is, yes, some of these drag on, like the one that I'm dealing with for 4 years.
So and it's permissive. The state, doesn't mandate you pull the surety bond, because you could, pull
Correct.
up
There's a
project.
process. You want to
There's a
work with people, right?
process. Yeah.
We're about making sure but you get to a point where if the project's not being done,
Yeah.
we have to, for our citizenry, for state highway, we have to hold people accountable, and that's what I believe this bill is intended to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm looking at page 3, line 17. It says the administration may require. Is that, but I'm wondering if it's a may, then there's some decision making.
Sure.
So it's not a requirement unless it's a shall.
Yeah.
So can you talk to me about that?
Understood. I want to be absolutely clear. This was the language that State Highway and MBIA worked on. Obviously, and I understand shall may, but this is kind of what we came, to where we were at. I don't disagree with you, but as I said, this is kind of what was agreed to, what was brought forward.
So how would we know whether or not a schedule is going to be, that they're going to be made to put a schedule for?
Understood. Again, don't want to speak for them, but I know that this is what they thought would be the best way forward in moving, to a point where you're including that language. Because they could pull the surety bond now, right? But it's really not in regulation or in state law. My point is, I think we actually have it in state law to see what's here.
And, no, and I feel you as well. I mean, I have issues when folk come in and they do work, and then the work is shoddy, and then they take months to come back and repair it.
Correct.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Delegate. So since this bill applies to projects of highways carrying 25,000 vehicles per day or more, did SHA give you any kind of data about how many projects we're talking about?
They did not. I mean, understand there were, obviously, there's amendments that came through, and there was a big debate over what should be covered and what should not. I mean, ultimately, if you think about it, there are probably state roads that don't have a lot of traffic, so the impact isn't as large. Like the one that's in my district, 70,000 cars has that impact. So again, this was just kind of where they, where they discussed.
Where they landed, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was just interested.
Yep.
Rural versus urban.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, further questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. With that, that'll conclude the hearing for House Bill 669 and our hearings for the day. We're going to gavel out, restart, and then we'll get into our vote.